What's up, everybody? It's your boy Tino here, and we're here today to preview another pay-per-view premium live event. WWE and NXT just pumping them out like they're nothing right now. As we're in the middle of WrestleMania season, we're on the road to the Elimination Chamber, but the NXT stars, before they get to stand and deliver in NXT, and we also got Roadblock that was announced yesterday on March 11th, if I'm not mistaken. But we're here today to preview all 6 matches that are going to go down at Vengeance Day this Saturday. And then we're going to talk about a little Mr. Somebody, a little bit of Absolute that showed up yesterday on NXT. So let's not waste any more time, guys. And let's welcome our guest here on the channel, as he is a first-time guest here on the channel. And it's nice to have somebody to do this preview show with, because this was a last-minute thing. So let's welcome him to the Tino's Time, guys. It's Jay Gold from the Indie Wrestling Guide.
What's up? What's up, Tino? Yeah, NXT, the road to WrestleMania apparently goes through Long Island and Wisconsin. So go figure, the two of us doing this and making it work from the middle of the country all the way to the East Coast.
I mean that's the beauty about FaceTime and StreamYard and all these things and the technology nowadays, because you never know who the heck you're gonna meet. But
hell yeah,
I appreciate you making some time and coming on the channel and everything else. So if you want to tell everybody a little bit about like you and
I am
first time on your channel.
Yeah. So if anybody listens, I'm on the Indie Wrestling Guide. We release every Thursday. We literally talk specifically about independent wrestling, the independent wrestling scene in Ohio, the independent wrestling scene out on the East Coast. And we do an hour a week, and we get some really good interviews. This week we have independent legend Gary J, who's going to be who we met with. We recorded the other night, and he's going to be on our show on Thursday. And we are previewing Neo Pro Wrestling's next show, which is Saturday night. And our podcast has a championship belt, the Indie Wrestling Guide title, and Mikey Montgomery is the current champion, and he's facing Gary J on Saturday at Neo Pro. So if anybody's out there in the Cleveland, Ohio area, Neo Pro is going to be there, and listen to us every Thursday. Guide for TV wrestling, but I just love it. So when you said jump in on the NXT side, I'm all in. So let's do that.
Well, it's funny that you say all in. Do you want to talk about who showed up yesterday first, or do you want to talk about the match?
I mean, let's save that for the end, because I'm sure people are going to be, they might or might not like the takes. Who knows?
I mean, that's very true. But let's go over these matches that will be going down on Saturday. We got Fallon Henley taking on Stephanie Valkyrie for the NXT North American Women's Championship. We got Fraxium taking on Josh Briggs. And can you help me with this guy's names? What's the name?
Hold on. Hold on. I know I have trouble pronouncing it myself, and it's actually Inamura. So Yoshiki Inamura.
There we go. Yeah, that guy. Because I cannot say his name, and I've tried, and I ain't gonna try right now. But him and Josh Briggs taking on Fraxium. We got Javon Evans. I feel like this match should just be unsanctioned at this point, as he takes on Ethan Page, but he signed a contract that WWE has no whatever you want to call it, of a liability for what happens in this match and what Ethan Page does to Javon Evans.
So your classic no holds barred, no rules, no matches, no disqualification, no everything into the same match. So we got that.
Exactly. And speaking of no DQ and everything, these guys are going to be attached to each other. It's a strap match that randomly came about yesterday. I mean, I guess not randomly, but I just wasn't expecting them to have a match on the pay-per-view. But it is Trick Williams. We're going to whoop that Trick as he takes on Eddie Thorne. And then we also got a Fatal 4-Way Women's Championship match as Roxanne makes her last NXT appearance before she makes her official main roster debut on Monday night against Raquel Rodriguez. She's taking on Julia, the NXT champion. Cora Jade, her best friend, ex-best friend, who knows what they are. And then we got the role model. Randomly, Bailey decided to show up in NXT, and we're here for the Fatal 4-Way. And then in the main event, I feel like Oba Femi's just going to destroy these two, but that's okay. It's A-Town Down Under taking on the NXT champion, Oba Femi. So, how do you feel about the build for Vengeance Day? How do you feel about? I feel like these. I know there's only 6 matches, but I feel like for an NXT pay-per-view, I feel like this is like more than we usually get to.
This one, I I like this card a lot. I have not been 100% happy with some of the cards lately on NXT. I find myself kind of, I find that there is a lack of men's main event scene and a men's mid card scene on NXT lately. And I don't know if it's just kind of being a little jaded as what I watch. I feel like the women's scene has blossomed while the men's scene has kind of taken a small aback to what Shawn Michaels likes to do, which is, push the women, and he has a plan I can see for the big names that he has brought in. So I see that, Stephanie Vacker, I see Julia and Delta and all them. I think that he has an idea of where he wants them placed on his card. I feel like sometimes he has a problem figuring out where he wants to place his men. And I think this is a good card. I'm excited for the men's matches. I think it's going to take a little more time for him to flesh out his ideas for that scene.
Yeah. I mean, and the NXT is very women heavy. Even watching this past Tuesday, I felt like we got a lot of women's matches.
Mm-hmm.
And that's nothing wrong with that, but you're absolutely right. I mean, I feel like you gotta we did see Ridge Holland and Tony D in a steel cage, but I mean, in the end, it really all just what's up, Nella? It all just really set up Sean Spears and his group making their name or whatever they're doing. So
yeah.
Well, but again, they're not that. That's the other thing. He's not even defending it on the pay-per-view. I feel like steel cage would have been cool to see on a pay-per-view.
Yeah, they don't do enough of those. I don't remember the last time an NXT pay-per-view did some kind of cage match that wasn't either War Games or something like that. I feel
like it was the Grayson Waller. I feel like Grayson Waller took on Mello or Tripp.
It definitely rings a bell. There's just so much of that kind of melts in together. I forget which one's on television and which one's their premium live events, but
I know.
Yeah,
I remember Grayson jumping off of something, and I don't know, with his ass, and he's a funny guy.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. I think they do need something like this on their live premium live events. I think a strap match is a good start, but I would like to see something like with real consequences, like a cage match. But we could talk about that another time.
Exactly. But the first match I do want to talk about is for the NXT North American Women's Championship. It is that woman you just mentioned, Miss Stephanie Vaquer, as she is taking on Fallon Henley. How do you feel about Fallon and JC Jane and Jasmine and everything else? And do you think it's too early to pull the trigger on Stephanie, or do you think this is the perfect time?
So you booked yourself into two corners here. One, I like what they're doing with Fallon Henley. I like that team. Sometimes I can't believe that name is real. Some of the women's names, I'm just like, didn't you just put it into a random name generator? But I like Fallon Henley. Listen, you can't bring in someone like Stephanie Vaquer, like Julia, like Delta, and be like, okay, we're going to put you in this scene, and then you're going to lose. So if anything, Fallon Henley will be a placeholder. Give it to Stephanie Vaquer. She right now, is there anybody hotter on NXT? I think Julia is not even as hot as Stephanie right now. So yeah. Who would you rather see with the title on? Stephanie Vaquer should win this and should be the one who is holding that belt. So as much as I like that kind of deadly alliance type of stuff with Fallon Henley, I'd be really happy if Stephanie Vaquer took the belt.
Yeah. And that's the biggest thing where, I feel like it's just, sadly, I feel like for Fallon, I feel like she was like a transitional champion.
Right.
There we go. Can't speak. But I feel like, she's done what she's done. I feel like she definitely has raised her stock a little bit to not feel like one of those, because at one point, Kiana James was getting kind of a bigger push than Fallon, and now it seems like we haven't seen Kiana since she showed up on Raw 2 times, and then
I think wasn't she hurt? I thought she was out. Yeah,
she got hurt, and then she also got something done.
Well, yeah, of course. The WWE injury list. But I think, but believe it or not, I think Mandy Rose benefited from them putting a title on her and letting her run for a while. So I think Fallon Henley definitely benefited a bit and got more comfortable with her character. But we got to be honest. You got to give it to Stephanie Vaquer so that there is no, she can't lose. And you can't do what you did to Julia, where you had her wrestle and then had her get and then Cora Jade cost her the title shot. I think that took more momentum away from her when she finally did win the belt. So I think if you're going to put Stephanie Vacker in this match, you better let her win. I can't see any of this schmaz, chicanery garbage where she gets hit with a pipe or something. If you're going to do this, pull the trigger and let her run with it through the spring, and let's see. You just can't tease these names. Somebody like Delta and Sol Ruka could be tag team champions. Somebody like Stephanie Vacker should have this belt. It's setting up. Shawn Michaels' pieces are setting up for who he wants to be the face of his company. So I can't see you taking that opportunity away from her at this point.
Well, yeah, no, and that's the biggest thing. Where, as you said, like there's so many things, and like they bring in they bring in these people, and it's like sometimes they do and don't know what to do with them, and it's just like, especially the tag titles, like they don't know what we're doing with the tag titles and anything, and it's just like, so and I feel like Stephanie has got more of a reaction than Julia, and Julia is the champion, and sometimes I feel like people like forget that I feel like that's why the match also is a fatal 4-way too, because I feel like they're also trying to protect her if she, because
there's just something dark. Yeah, there's something dark about Stephanie Vacker that people like, and I think Julia's having a little bit of trouble connecting right now with the audience. So we'll see. I mean, if the indie fans love Julia, but the WWE fans like Stephanie Vacker, so I think that's where you're going to get the title change.
Yeah. I am going to agree with you, though. I think it's time for Stephanie to win, and I think I've been saying it for a while that I think this was always the plan with Fall and whoever it was going to be. I didn't think it was going to be Stephanie because at the time Stephanie was not in WWE before her and Julia showed up. But I think it's time Fall and I think like you said, her getting comfortable with her character, and I think JC Jane has definitely helped with that, and Jasmine is definitely growing a little bit more. And I don't know, it seems like these factions work. That's what seemed to happen with Mandy. She just got Gigi and JC and turned into this.
It helps all three of them. It helps them all kind of figure out who they are. They don't have to be all in the spotlight as a single. So I think it helps them kind of figure out who they are. Now, good. Now you move on, or have JC Jane now fight Stephanie Vacker for the belt, and have a bunch of people, different ones of them take runs at her, but take it away from Fallon Henley and let them kind of do what they're doing.
Shall be very interesting to see what happens. I do not know which way the match card is going to happen. I'm sure we'll probably maybe see one of the championship matches started off, but this is how we're just going to do it here, guys. So don't you be yelling at me. And if there are any of you in the comments, we'll go through the comments in a little bit. So please leave your comments, your concerns. How do you feel about these matches? What do you think? How do you feel about the guy that showed up yesterday? And we'll still talk about that after we get through these matches. But let's get to the next match, and this one is for not another title, but this one is for a tag team title, and it's for the NXT Tag Team Championships. It is Fraxium taking on Josh Briggs and his tag team partner. I'm not even going to try to
Inamura.
There you go.
That
guy. I'm gonna have to get like a little thing that says his name, because I
just keep flashing it on the screen when you need to remember it. Yeah. Well, listen, if you're having this much trouble trying to say it, why the fuck, excuse my language, does either one of these guys need a tag title? The truth is they don't.
No, they
so
no, they don't.
No.
Listen, what I'm just gonna do is the next couple days, so I get it right on Saturday, I'm just gonna start saying his name over and over and over and over again until I can't not say it.
Yeah, I mean, I hope you don't have to say it too much after Saturday. There is zero reason for these guys to be in this match. There's so many opportunities for tag teams in NXT, and I am not sold on either one of these dudes. So Fraxium is something else. The pairing of these guys and just because Nathan Frazier being on the Indies, I remember seeing him at GCW and different places, and this dude could flat out go, and that's exactly what you want when you have a tag team. No wonder these guys are holding on to the belt so long. You just want to watch these two guys go nuts, and I'm not sold on that. I'm not even not sold. I don't care about the other team, and that's a problem. So,
I mean, they just took Josh Briggs off with Brooks Jensen. They put Brooks Jensen with Shawn Spears, and they put Briggs back in the tag team. I mean, I said it last night. At one point, he was having a singles run. He was taking on Ivar. It's like, what happened? Like
another guy who I have zero interest in, Brooks Jensen. Like, I don't understand some of the men's division decisions in NXT. I just don't get it. Like, they have a few of these like mega stars you can make, and we'll talk about Ethan Page and Javon Evans later, and we'll talk about the Absolute later, and you have guys who you can do these two. No offense, I mean, there's always going to be some guys that you're going to be like, okay, they're going to be around, they'll have their matches and fill time on the show, but do I need them in NXT as the tag? No, I'm good, guys. Thanks, but not everybody. Not for everybody.
I don't disagree with you, and especially after what happened on TNA. I don't know if they posted it last night or this morning. I can't remember when I watched it, but we saw a little interaction with them and TNA with my favorite tag team of all time, the Mr. Hardy Boys. So I feel like that's gonna happen eventually. So
you know what? I'm fine with that. Do you think they're going to bring the Hardys to NXT to do that?
I don't know. I don't know if they do though. I'm going to run around like a little schoolgirl. Like I still remember my reaction. I wish I had it on camera. I wish I was like doing my shows then, and when they returned at 33, I was sitting there with my friend. Oh my god, I've never been so excited. So I hope so, but I don't know. It should be interesting. I mean, shoot, they could show up on Saturday after this match. Maybe that's why they teased it. And maybe the Hardy Boys ain't got nothing to do. We'll have to see. But
depending on that relationship, right? Depending on what the relationship is with TNA, it could anything, right? Anything could go down there.
I mean, yeah, and I think this is also where we will see Jordynne Grace. We haven't got that far, but I do think because Jordynne Grace is supposed to start in NXT, I do think that we'll see her.
Well, so there you go. Now the Shawn Michaels 4 Horsemen, Delta and Jordynne Grace and Julia and Stephanie Vacker. Now you got all 4 that I know he was looking at that he likes. Even though, and I forgot what Delta's name is now in NXT. Who is she? Why does she have to sound like Julia? Like Zarya, like keep it as the way it was. Anyway, I think he has a 4 horsewomen of the Shawn Michaels apocalypse that he wants. And it's Zarya, it's Stephanie, it's Julia, and it's Jordynne Grace. So, you're going to see stuff out of there, and then the rest of the women's division might kind of step below it.
You know that you said that now. You know damn well in like 3-4 years when Mercedes comes back to WWE, we're gonna have a War Games match with Triple H and Shawn Michaels having their 4 horsewomen in a. And you would be happy, and you and I would both be happy as hell to see it. I would love to see it, but I think those women are absolutely. There's just that you watch Raw and SmackDown, and which woman is going to compete with Stephanie Vacker when she's out there in her top of her game? Not a lot of women can keep up with her. No. So. Going back to that match, but to see how little the tag match is getting me, I just can't do it. I can't. I don't understand. I don't understand Josh Briggs. I feel like this match will be after one of the championship matches that are a lot better, and it will just be them putting on a match for 12 minutes and then Fraxium winning. So I sometimes forget, how did Inamura even get on this show? I don't even understand where he came from. Called him, to be honest. Is that what it was? I think that's what happened. He called Pro Wrestling Noah and was like, "I need a guy who can be slow like me." It just doesn't make sense to me. But probably, yeah, I'm gonna go with Fraxium retaining if we're gonna say who's gonna win this one. Probably, honestly, yeah. I mean, I don't even know, but yeah, Fraxium gonna take the win here. Yeah. Next match, though, we're gonna talk about is the strap match with Trick Williams. We're gonna whoop that Trick as he is taking on Eddie Thorne. And the question I have for you to start off with this match is, how do you feel about the push of Eddie Thorne? Because this push came out of nowhere. I feel like he was like there for a minute, and then I don't know. Now they treat this guy like he's like the next big thing. So I am so glad you said that, because I think I don't understand what the hell you have. Trick Williams is there, and I wish they would get. I wish they understood exactly how much last you have. NXT show. Yeah, what is the issue with why are they not pulling the trigger on him going up to Raw? I don't understand. Or SmackDown. He'd probably be better on SmackDown. You got 3 hours over there, but yeah. Eddie Thorne and Mello's there. Yeah, I mean, and actually, you know what? That's not a bad thing to put them together. But Eddie Thorpe, like, let's be honest. When did that even? I remember when they debuted him, and I'm like, oh, it's just another guy. He's just another guy they're trying out because this is not going to work. Like, you can't shove that nonsense down my throat and be like, this is my guy. I just can't do it. But I love Trick, so I would assume Trick can end this. Or if you think something else, like maybe there's someone else who's going to get involved. I just don't understand.
Does it sell tickets? I mean, Trick sells tickets, but does Eddie Thorpe getting, justification or getting gratification winning a match sell tickets? No. So I don't know. I don't understand him, but I do like Trick very much, and I think he is probably going to win.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest thing with Eddie Thorne. I mean, I always like seeing guys like go from the bottom. I always love to say it because there are a lot of people that I talk to, a lot of people that I interact with that don't watch NXT because they don't like it. But then all of a sudden, when they see somebody like a Trick Williams or Carmelo Hayes or Roxanne Perez or whatever, they're like, oh yeah, blah blah blah. But or like Tiffany Stratton is my perfect example because everybody forgets that she came into NXT and was this and that and Daddy's Girl or whatever.
Yeah.
And so it's like just watching how far she rose from, and everybody's in love with her, but they all forget, or like LA Knight, they forget he was $1 million champion. So it's always like one of those things. I always love to see that, but like with Eddie Thorne, I just really don't know where it came from, and it's like I don't know. I feel like Trick's gonna win. I feel like it's gonna be this and that, but I feel like, and I really hope this is Trick's last match. And
wait, was Eddie Thorpe a DJ when they first debuted him, or was that a different guy?
I think that was a different guy.
Are you sure? I thought that dude,
because Eddie Thorne has always come out and like danced weird and like because he first started coming out and doing like that weird dance and everything.
I thought he was a DJ, like a trans DJ, like trans music, like that trans house music.
You know what? Maybe he was like I feel like I remember that, but I feel like it didn't like last that long.
Oh, I could swear there we go. The guys from the Main Event Network said, yeah, he was a DJ. All right, good.
Was he okay? So okay.
Yeah, and then the Paltracast, my friend over there was like, that was DJ Shima, but that is definitely not Jima Ion. That was TNA, and I'm talking about in the last 3 months there, Darren. I know it wasn't Jima. Jesus,
I got see. Okay, but that's funny. I mean, and that's like the thing with like. I need to look that up because it's like now that you say that, like I remember him doing that.
That's why I was like, all of a sudden he's Native American. Like, what are we doing? Like, I didn't
realize that he was like doing that. Like, I didn't realize like that was him. That's right. Yeah,
I thought he was English. At first, I thought he was an English house DJ, and then he comes in and they're like, no, he's Native American. I'm like, oh my God, what the hell happened?
That's right. He was standing on top of the barricade thing and doing that's right.
Yes.
Okay,
see
this freaking guy. That's right. Okay. Yeah. I mean, but I don't really know what they're doing with him. And I mean, good for him being able to get the ability and having the opportunities. And I think that's the coolest thing about all of it.
Sure.
But I just don't see him being like that main event guy. And like,
no,
I don't know. I just don't see him being like a NXT champion. Like Oba's an NXT champion. Like
that dude. Yeah. And
that
then
man
when we get to him, that dude is just a Greek statue. Just that man is going to be a megastar, whichever show he's on. But I don't see it with Eddie Thorpe. I don't see it. I just don't see it.
Yeah, I don't either. I think it will be a good match. I think strap matches are always like they're not obviously the best, greatest of all time, but
are they doing this with the lights on the corners, or is this just the strap so they don't get away? I don't think I saw like the.
I don't think that they said anything, so I am assuming that they are just going to be like strapped to each other. But again, they could change it. I mean, we've seen both ways. I think, right? Or
like a dog collar
always
match.
Been where you got to touch the corners. I forget.
I think you're right because Punk and Drew did that.
There's
so
too many match types now, and Shawn Michaels brings all the old match types back and everything, and then I got to go back. Like, I mean, besides like the last few, I think like the last good strap match I remember watching was like John Cena and Randy at like bragging rights or breaking. One of those.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was definitely a good one. John Cena, so many underrated matches, and I hated him for so long. Then when he was gone, it's like I miss John Cena.
Man, jeez. I think I could do a whole podcast of just like John Cena like matches and moments of that.
Or how wrong we all were for so many years.
Oh my God. That's when I like first started. Like I remember watching, sitting in front of my neighbor's TV watching John Cena come out in Chicago against Kurt Angle and just like being like in awe of this guy and just like, and then obviously he started rapping and then I thought that was cool. And then I walked to school with a chain one time. That was fun.
Nice.
I bought one of those like John Cena chains on WWE Shop.
Listen, we all had something like that. I'm pretty sure I have something in this cabinet behind me with John Cena. I'm just not sure. I'd have to go through it.
So much John Cena stuff. But one man that has been having, and we'll get to the next match now. One man that has been having a great rise. We call him the OG, but Ethan Page does not like him, and he busted open his mouth, and I don't know how he feels about that, but or how that feels, but that probably is not a good time. But it is Javon Evans taking on Ethan Page, and what is pretty much an unsanctioned match, as Javon Evans signed a contract that WWE will not be liable for what happens in this match if Ethan Page knocks him out. But how do you feel about Javon Evans? How do you feel about the way they're doing this? The blood, like I don't know. That's the one thing I do like about NXT is like that they kind of bring back like the old style stuff.
And I agree with you. And I'm gonna date myself just a little bit because so I've been watching Javon Evans back in Deadlock Pro when he was there doing his thing, but I'm talking Ethan Page should revisit the Evolve years where him and Darby Allin had that feud where he hit Darby Allin with the shovel. I absolutely love Ethan Page more than probably most people who watch NXT. He is look. I don't like to name names and throw stuff around, but I got a chance to hang out with him one night in Cleveland. And my brother and I sat with him, and we didn't even talk wrestling. We talked about our kids, and he said to me, "Hey, when he was signing with AEW. He's like, when I come to Long Island, if you want tickets, just shoot me a text, and I'll hook you up." And he hooked it up. I got to the show. I brought a few friends. He got me tickets. He remembered. This was like 6 months later. He remembered and got me tickets. So I am always in debt to Ethan Page as a person. He's a very good person. I like seeing him succeed. And Javon Evans, goddamn, like there is a lack of what Javon Evans brings to NXT and to WWE in general. I get there are some guys who do lucha style, but there is nobody more athletic than that kid. Nobody. They're really like when you watch him, don't you go like, this is like, look at what this dude can do with his body. And I think you have a guy in Ethan Page who understands what his place is, and he's been around for so long, and bam, the match is going to be great. If he can channel that old Evolve Ethan Page, I think you're going to have something nuts. They may revisit spots that he did with Darby Allin, which might as well, because Javon Evans is a smaller guy compared to Ethan Page. He's tall, but he's skinny. I think you're going to see some great stuff there, and I don't know who's going to win this. If it was up to me, Ethan Page would win the NXT title again and be off to the races. But maybe it's Javon Evans' turn after he got his teeth broken and his face broken by Ethan Page.
Yeah, I mean, and I think it's just that it's so like. I mean, it might just be the people I know, but a lot of the people that I know like really didn't know who Ethan Page was, also because they didn't watch AEW because of this and that. But it's finally nice to see like Ethan Page like being able to be and have these types of matches and these rivalries, and him to feel like he's actually. Because I feel like he'll be in the main roster before freaking the year ends, and
he's ready.
I mean, it's only a matter of time, and I mean, CM Punk and Cody Rhodes just at this point just calling people as soon as they get released to show up. And, I mean,
well, did you ever think about it this way? Did you ever think the other direction was going to be guys coming in and being happy? Like you had all those dudes leave WWE to go to AEW from like 2019 to like 22, right? Everyone's like, I can't wait to get the fuck out of here. All my creative is stifled. I can't wait to go. And they come back to WWE and they're like, this is the happiest I've ever been. I can't believe that I'm able to be in NXT or on Raw. Like, look at what happened with Penta. And the first night that Ethan Page shows up on NXT, he's produced like a megastar. Like, these guys are so happy. It feels like opposite world. Like, everybody was running to AEW. Now everybody's running back to WWE. It's crazy.
I mean, it's one of those things though that it's just like you really never know what's gonna happen and who's gonna show up. And I think that's what I like about most about it, and the fact that like I always say it, if we're able to see these guys wrestle wherever, like as long as we're able to see them wrestle, and obviously that people not being used in certain situations is not good, but it is crazy where it's just like even especially like during like COVID, watching like Penta. And like Ethan and the guy that showed up last night and or Jade, like I don't know, like I remember when they were just talking about Jade being the next big thing, and then all of a sudden it just
they all fizzled out in AEW to the point where
very fast
the demoralization of a lot of these guys happened to where all of a sudden, once Vince left and Triple H took over and Shawn Michaels was in there and you had Regal go back, guys were like, oh my God, there's an opportunity again to like do this without being upset, like enjoy the world that I'm in. And now they're here and you have a lot of guys who came back who are fully invested now in WWE, and you have cards that can fill 2 nights of a Royal Rumble next year, fill 2 nights of WrestleMania this year, fill 2 nights of SummerSlam this year. Like, you have so much talent now, and Ethan Page should be on the front of everybody's, mouth when it comes to who's next, and Trick Williams, who's next. And then Javon Evans down there is going to carry that belt one day. And I mean, this match in general, I'm excited about it. I will be just as hyped whoever wins this one.
Yeah, and I think this is the one out of the whole entire night that could go either which way. I am going to take Javon Evans to win, though, because I do think with all that he's going through and his mouth and everything, I think that's going to be a big thing that he's going to, overcome in this match, and his mouth's probably going to be bleeding like crazy, but I'm all for it. So
yeah, bring me blood.
Javon Evans to win. Did you say your pick for?
I said Ethan Page, but I don't mind either one. But I want to see that razor. I want to see it running east to west, and I want to see some blood in that match. Let's see it.
I mean, shit, the way Liv Morgan bled on Monday, I mean, that was...
Yeah, but that was a mistake. I want to see it. I want to see somebody love the business so much that they run that razor. So who knows?
You're just going to have to wait and see what happens. But we got a fatal 4-way match, and it is for the NXT Women's Championship, and it is Julia, the NXT champion, Bayley, the role model. It's the generation of Jade, Cora Jade, and the prodigy, Roxanne Perez. As everybody should know and does know, Roxanne Perez is competing on Raw on Monday, officially her main roster debut. So this will be her last NXT match. And I'm assuming Bayley will go back to the main roster after this also. So how do you feel about this Fatal 4-Way, and who the heck's going to walk out and win? Because honestly, I have no idea.
Well, you know what? My problem with this is it's too set up. Don't tell me that this was her last match. Don't tell me Bayley's going back to the main roster, right? There's nobody, none of the 3 contenders are going to win. It has to be Julia, because you've already booked yourself into a corner. Now this doesn't happen often with WWE and stuff, but there's a lot of the AEW, WWE, they get into this problem where if someone's leaving and you have them in some kind of match, they're not winning. Roxanne's not taking the NXT women's belt up to Raw. Bayley's gone. She doesn't need it. So unless Cora Jade, they're planning something big, and I know the guys over at Main Event are saying it on our chat, and Hassan is saying it too. I don't agree. Cora Jade stinks. Give me.
Whoa! Listen, you're a Chicago girl. We got to listen here.
I forgot. On. Yeah. Well, look, I think Julia's gonna have to keep it. As I said, she's part of the new 4 horsewomen of Shawn Michaels of the Heartbreak 4. But that's good. I don't know if I could see any of those. If I could see Julia dropping it so quick. She didn't come over here for a cup of tea, with the title. She came here to hold it for a while and then go up to the main roster. So
yeah, and I think that's exactly what's gonna happen. You're absolutely right. Like that's the one thing I hate about. I wish they wouldn't announced it. What they should have done, and maybe you could have predicted, but maybe you have it be Raquel against a mystery opponent or something like that. So then you don't know who it is.
Right.
And then maybe Roxanne wins. And again, we have seen it where Indy did win the title, and then she got called up, and then she dropped the title, and then obviously she got released and whatever. But, it has happened before, but I don't think it is going to happen with Roxanne, because I do believe Julia is going to win this match. I would love to see Cora Jade win, because I just love Cora Jade, obviously,
Oh my God, you Chicago guys are so loyal. My God, there are so many Long Islanders I could care less about.
Talk about CM Punk? We could go. I go into it.
I love CM Punk. I am saying, but you guys, your blind loyalty to this city is out of control.
The Bears and the White Sox. I have loyalty till the day I die after
I
losing
see it.
134 games last year.
And you guys and your Chicago, I mean, a more rabid fan base. There really isn't when it comes to their love of their wrestlers. As far as Chicago wrestlers, my God. But
I mean, there is a lot of them.
Yeah,
but
and I don't know. I think they're gonna. I just think Julia's gonna keep it. I am just not on the. I know Cora went away and had the injured list too, but you know they. I would say Julia is probably just as how I see like how they want to present her is going to hold on.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a very good match, very good fatal 4-way. But yeah, Julia is gonna somehow find a way to win, and maybe her next opponent is, I can't. Maybe they do. Maybe they do Julia and Cora a couple like another time or something. Maybe some shenanigans happens. I don't know.
Yeah, or Jordan Grace will be the one who comes out at the end of this match where everyone kind of pops. You know, they got to give you one. Somebody's got to come out in this show. There's got to be more, at least one.
Well, yeah, that was gonna be my next thing. That was gonna be next. If that does not happen, Jordan Grace very well. And that's the one thing they did say with all of these releases and everything is that they are calling people up from NXT, and they're trying to obviously they need to replace the people from NXT. So it's like at least like that's whatever. But the problem is then they call people up, and then some get used very well, and then some don't, and then we're all.
My guy is Tony D'Angelo. I want Tony D to win the main title one day, but.
Oh, he's going to. I think he's going to have the exact same type of run that like Oba did, where he had the North American title and then he'll go up to the.
How is he not on this card? Like, it's a little disappointing to me that they don't have the men's North American title, but I guess I got to sell the beating he took last night too.
Yeah, and again, I guess they just needed to have a steel cage as a main event. Sean was like, "Let's do it." You know what?
Yeah.
And he was just loving it because. Before we talk about the main event, because we had somebody show up also from NXT, from AEW. He was released less than 24 hours. Actually, 3 people was released. And I talked about this on Raw yesterday, or on what's today, Wednesday. On Monday, I talked about this on Raw. I feel like this is the first time that AEW actually had like kind of a WWE type of release where they released more than 1-2 people. Yes, there was only 3 people, but they released people, and like I didn't think it would happen that fast. But we saw the man himself, Mr. Ricky Starks, show up in NXT last night. We all knew it was a matter of time being BFFs with Mr. American Nightmare Cody Rhodes. But how do you feel about this, and what do you think, and what was your like initial reaction when you saw it? Because at first I heard the music, and I'm like, what is going on? And when I saw him, I had to take a step back. I was like, is this real life right now? Because I thought there was a 90-day clause for them. Is there not?
Not AEW. Nope.
Oh, okay.
Ricky Starks gave you the Scott Hall. You know who I am, but you don't know why I'm here. He gave you that. He didn't give you his name. Everybody said we know who that is. By the way, I hate that more than anything. More than anything, we know who that is. Don't tell me that. Just say his name. We know it's Ricky Starks. Don't steal his name away. Don't make him something different. Don't make him Billy Sticks or something else. Make him Ricky Starks.
The only person that has done anything like that is Lexis King. I want to give Lexis King the credit because Lexis King has made himself into like Lexis King and not Brian Pillman. Yeah. Other than that, though, no.
And Walter and Gunther. Like Gunther is
right.
And he had to change on the fly. Like they were calling him Walter until he showed up on TV.
You forget about that too because people hated it at first.
Yeah. And now they love, and he's, by the way, he's my favorite wrestler. So, I mean, I love everything he's done.
I could definitely see you being a part of Imperium. You can take Vincey's place.
Sure. That really upset me, by the way, because how good was Imperium booked in NXT as the tag champs? Like they were booked. They were unbeatable. Like, and then they went ahead and put that dude in a tracksuit and made him and like turned him into something he wasn't. And it was just very disappointing. But, I was really happy to see Ricky Starks. I really hope that he uses his name. I still can't believe Defy gave him the title the night before. And then he flew out. He missed his flight to Toy Ohio to do a toy festival. He was supposed to be there. There was all this controversy, and everybody was talking about Ricky Starks. Even last night, before he showed up on TV on our show, we were talking about Ricky Starks. And all of a sudden, he shows up on NXT. And I think it's absolutely awesome that we're living in the age of a guy can be released, show up at an indie show, get a title, fly overnight to Orlando, and be on NXT. Like, it's great. We're in a great timeline for wrestling.
It is. So you said it earlier. You said that you went to a lot of WrestleManias and everything else like this. Is how what like? Because obviously I'm a little younger. Is this just how it was like when like Kevin? Like I've seen the video.
This is the '90s.
Is this what it was like when Kevin Nash and Scott Hall just randomly showed up to WCW?
Here's the difference about that time and this time. And we've talked about it with a million different guys on our show, and I'm sure you may not feel the same way just because you grew up with this. The internet has given us too much and has taken away a lot of what it means. So like when Scott Hall showed up on WCW, there was no warning. There was no outlet. Maybe Lords of Pain was .net, but there was really no outlet for us to be like, he's coming. It was just like, holy shit. When the Radicals were in the front row of Raw, everybody was just like, holy shit. This is a fun moment to say holy shit because Ricky Starks gave nothing away. There's too many guys who give it away who are like, oh, I can't come because, and then they give you a winky face on Twitter or something dumb. Ricky Starks did not give it away. And yes, it felt amazing to watch a show where finally I didn't know what was happening, right? Like we don't get enough of that. But it was great to see him, and I love this nonsense, and I love everything he does. I think he has the perfect look. Like some guys come out and you're like, yes, that's a guy. I get it. You're supposed to be here. There's some guys who I'm like, no, you don't. What are you doing here? Like, Josh Briggs and Inamura. Like, what are you guys doing here? But Ricky Starks come out and you're like, I'm paying a ticket to see that dude. So it made me excited. And it definitely gives you a little vibe of like a mini war of talent, between the two companies.
I mean, I even said it last night too. Like, imagine at this point, we could have like a fatal four-way of just all AEW guys. We have Lexis King, Shawn Spears, Ethan Page, and Ricky Starks.
Well, you say that though, but you say that, but think about this now. How long has Lexis King now been developing himself in NXT where you don't even associate him with the Hollywood Blondes anymore, or Varsity Blondes anymore? And even like who was the other one you mentioned? You said Lexis King, you said Ethan Page. Who was the fourth one?
Oh, Shawn Spears.
Yeah, so Spears being in WWE and NXT for so long and then jumping over to AEW, it even feels like he belonged back here. Like I think he had a small run, cup of coffee AEW. I think he's where he belongs. I think his character works there. I think his age is a problem as far as how far he can go anymore. But there's so much for him to give that they just kind of fit in NXT. You don't kind of associate them. But if you said Ethan Page and Ricky Starks as a tag team, well, hell yeah. You got something going right there for NXT tag titles. So who knows?
I mean, you said it, not me. But it's just, and that's the thing. Like, even like see it like Cope or Adam Copeland or Edge or whatever the hell you want to call him. Like, even just being able to see him or watch Mercedes or see these other people that have jumped ship being able to do this and that is just really cool. So
it is. We
will have to see what happens with Ricky. Hopefully he does not get his name changed. And hopefully he's not just Starks next week. Instead I don't have that fear as much as I used to. So we'll find out. But I think if anything does change, I have noticed in a lot of interviews I listen to that it is the Superstars' decision as of late, and they actually asked them about if they want to, and that's the thing earlier about like we were talking about like the people now, like even them just sending like the Christmas cards to all the legends or like saying thank you to this and that, like that, like Mark Henry being back on WWE TV after all those years, and I'm waiting for Big Show's ass to show up eventually because it's gonna happen at some point.
I think if it was like me, like if I had to come on your show and you're like, you can't use Jay Gold, you got to use something else because the show is, the show is copyrighted. We don't want to use your name. I'd be upset like how that's my brand. And I think somebody like Ricky Starks, that's his brand. Like, come on, guys, let's just call it Ricky Starks and move on for the day. You don't need to own everyone's names. You can make money branding, Ricky Starks and Absolute and all that stuff. You don't have to own everything. So, I mean, that's a Vince McMahon mentality, right? He owned everything. And then when you left and you had to be called something ridiculous, like Brother Ray Deadly instead of Bubba Ray Dudley, like Vince was like, ha, screw you when you leave. Like Cope, he can't be Edge. Like that takes away so much of your shine. Like
I know.
I'm here, and I'm Edge, and everyone's like now what? Who are you? Adam Copeland. No, I don't want to say that. Like I don't want to say Brother Ray Deadly. I want to say Bubba Ray Dudley. Like I need Ricky Starks to keep his name. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and that's you do a whole podcast about name changes.
Yeah,
like that. But we got one more match to talk about. I feel like we both have the same prediction for this one, and I feel like we all know who's going to win this one. But it should be fun to watch these two get ragdolled. It's A-Town Down Under, Austin Theory and Grayson Waller taking on the NXT champion Oba Femi. So how do you feel about Oba and just in general about how fast he's risen from being like the breakout superstar to being North American champion and now being NXT champion? Because it's crazy how fast sometimes some of these guys shoot up to.
I was going to tell you, I am more than willing to say I was wrong when I first saw him come out. I was like, whatever. Like in my head, I was like, whatever, just another guy, right? Like you found another giant dude, because there's giant dudes on the NXT roster. Those guys, whoever, when the show goes off the air now, that they're doing like that TV break, whatever that is, that glitch at the end of NXT, there are some big dudes there too. But I was like, okay, just a big dude. And then I've watched him, and is there anybody you like watching more like demolish people than Oba Femi? Like he is just,
so much fun.
Yeah, he is just so much fun. And can I just say, I know Austin Theory has a checkered past, and there's a lot of things that go on with him and Grayson Waller. The two of them, they are an example of two guys who understand their characters and just get it. Like Grayson Waller, I've watched. I don't know why. I went into like a interview hole with Grayson Waller, seeing him talk to different shows and stuff. Jesus Christ, that dude just gets it. Like. He is like, he goes, I don't take pictures. I'm the heel. I heel it up everywhere. I love being a dick. And then he comes in the ring and he's an absolute menace. And Austin Theory is starting to grow on me to the point where like, if he turns face, you might have something. And I know that they said like he was Vince's guy and everything. You might have something here. He might actually have clicked. So they are going to get pummeled. It's going to lead to the two of them splitting up. Oba Femi is going to walk away with the title, and I think the notes from the end of the show are going to be A-Town Down Under breaks up. I think that's the undertone of this match. Is it that Oba Femi is in danger? No, it's A-Town Down Under are not going to get along. That's what's going to happen because they've been teasing it now for like 3 weeks.
Yeah, and they've been ramping it up a lot more because they did do it a while ago, and then it seemed like they like stopped it. Yeah, and then now like as of late, and I feel like. Yes, they're not brothers. They're not really, whatever. But I feel like this could be the Jimmy J tag team, like, split up match at WrestleMania this year is Grayson Waller versus Austin Theory.
That's actually a really good idea, actually. That actually would work. Opening the show one of these one night, it would be just fine.
Again, yeah, you can make fun. now let's set you on to make an appearance. Waller even said it last night about the John Cena, about how he beat John Cena, blah, blah, blah. That's all he's done at WrestleMania. Now it's time. And, I think it's time for Grayson Waller because Grayson Waller had a great NXT run. He was doing things, and I thought eventually he was going to be champion.
He didn't need a tag partner.
Close to being.
Yeah, he didn't need a tag partner. It just works. The two of them work, but he doesn't need a tag partner.
No, he doesn't. And it saved, honestly, I feel like it saved Theory because as you said with Vince, he was like his guy. And then with Triple H for a little bit, it didn't seem like he was really doing too much. And then I think, and I think that will be a good way to spotlight both of them. So we will definitely have to see, but I do agree with you. I think that's exactly what's going to happen. And I feel like this will be the main event, but I also feel like this will be like a short main event where it's not going to be like as long of a match.
And by the way, Michelle in the chat, yes, Theory would be the face in this. He would be the good guy, which is crazy, but because he's so smug looking. But you could soften him up a little bit if you trim up his eyebrows a bit and don't make him so like overly like douchey looking. He definitely could be the face. I think Grayson Waller is way too much of a dick. Like you can't. There's no way.
I mean,
Who's rooting for that guy?
Behind Theory's story too.
Yes.
The story that he's had where, I mean, I even remember they showed him, he was like 11, 12 years old at like a Money in the Bank, and John Cena ran over to him and he's sitting there jumping around in the crowd. And it's one of those things that I think if they went through his life that people could really get behind, because he is just a kid like somebody like me growing up that wanted to be in wrestling. That
he was here, man. He was here like in Evolve over on the East Coast for years. Like I remember seeing him in different venues all over Long Island. Like he was here. He's not like I know he's from Atlanta, but he was Evolve from like the very beginning when I was watching a lot of that. He was with Dom Guarini. He was with Ethan Page. He was their good guy. And until he got, there was some there's alleged stuff goes on that has gone on, and until that happened, he was, there was a lot of, he was on a documentary, like there was a lot that went on with him. So I could absolutely see him being the face. And I'm sorry, Obafemi, because I love Obafemi. I didn't mean to put you on the side there, but I think this match is really just a vehicle to do that. But people will do that. That stuff for him when he comes out.
Is it?
And he's
what is it? Is it Woo? Is it?
I think it's Who. It's a much better Moose. Like when Moose comes out and goes like that in TNA, okay. Obafemi is much better doing his thing where he comes out and like he does his strut and whatever. It's much more like
got that crowd going very quickly with like the whoop, the trick, the everything. They get that it just
remember this. So NXT before COVID, those Florida loops were so important for getting guys' gimmicks over. And because the fans at Full Sail were so rabid, they used to go on all those loops. So remember when like the Street Profits debuted and all these people were doing like all the stuff the Street Profits were doing. And they were like, when the guys came in the crowd and they knew everything, that was so important to get the gimmick over that now they do loops, but they're not as abundant. And I think now these guys are having to work even harder to get their gimmicks over. And Obafemi I think it's just his aura that gets that gimmick over. But back in even 6-7 years ago, those guys were doing so many loops that by the time they got in front of the live crowd on the TV, the crowd was chanting with them. They already seen them 3 or 4 times a weekend. Yeah. So, I give Obafemi tons of credit for doing that thing because people just seem to have latched onto it and just love him. So yeah, he could do whatever. He doesn't. That's not even his accent. I can't even believe that. That dude stays in character the whole time.
Wait, really?
Yeah, you got to see his old interviews when he debuted.
No, I've never. I thought that was like no, really. I thought really see. Like I see, like we talked about not looking at it. Like I hate looking at the internet because I don't like being spoiled at all. I tell people all the time versus paper, like during paper, I'm like, if you guys spoil anything, I kick them. I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah, but he was already on NXT doing no accent. Like that was the thing when he first came out. When they signed all these guys to whatever
like
it was
the breakout tournament.
Yeah, when he was before that. So when he was part of the class, they had an interview with him, and during breakout they showed it, I think, on video. But that's not a real accent. That's like how he said he does his.
That's so
funny. He has family from Africa. He's definitely from there, but the accent isn't real. It's part of like an homage to his family. Yeah.
That's great. I did not know that.
Not like Kofi, where Kofi's not from Jamaica and everything. Kofi's from Ghana, but Kofi didn't even do a good accent. But Obafemi's accent is real as far as where he's from. He just doesn't speak that way all the time.
Don't get me started on the New Day.
I love it. Let him be even worse. I want them to be even more mean and everybody turn their back on him. More stuff.
It's so funny and so great to finally see Ellie, especially Kofi to be a heel.
I still have a box of unopened Bootios that my daughter keeps asking me to eat, and I've had this box since before she was born. And I'm like, that's how much I have New Day. I love the New Day.
Oh man, I am a huge collector now, but I didn't start collecting until after that came out, and I'm so mad because they had like the 3-pack Bootios action figures, and
I got that at whatever that Hot Topic. That was back in the day. They were selling boxes of booties. You could eat them, and I think there's probably spiders in there at this point. But I haven't opened the box. You never know.
Yeah, don't open that. I mean, my dad did have a Michael Jordan's Wheaties box since like 1997. So like, I'm sure.
As long as it's sealed, then the spiders can't get in.
It was all sealed, and now I don't know where any of it is.
Right.
But that is the NXT Vengeance Day card as of right now. Obviously, I feel like, it's not like how it used to be where things could be added and everything else. So we should be good on that. But now we'll go through the chat. Everything else, we'll see who's here. Any good comments and questions. But is there anything else you wanted to cover? Did I miss anything?
No, you did. That was great. I honestly, I think we covered all that stuff. The boys from Main Event were writing along, and we had some good, good conversation. Some people were just saying what's up, but I think NXT wise, I don't ever get a chance to talk NXT, so I'm very excited that I get to. My brother and I, we do it on Tuesday nights, and we kind of laugh about it, but we watch some NXT together. But it's good to like see it kind of played out when you can like speak it out. So I am all ready for that. I'm ready for the Main Event Mixer on Saturday night. I think that's going to be awesome. Yes, I hope everybody comes to that too, because we're going to be doing this again and shit talking and talking all about it. So
you love to see it.
Oh yeah, Michelle, we could see Malachi Black or Aleister Black on at the pay-per-view. You never know.
I mean,
or even Friday night.
I mean, you don't know. I mean, I think it's only a matter of time that we see.
I just still don't understand what happened there. I don't get it. He had all that momentum. What the hell happened? He's gone. He's back. He's gone. Like Keith Lee, gone. He's back. He's gone.
Man, he's another. Keith Lee makes me so sad because I was at that Survivor Series with Roman Reigns and NXT, Raw, SmackDown, and everything.
The best.
It was just so awesome to see like what they were doing, and it all just went downhill, and it makes me so mad.
Yeah, COVID screwed up poor Keith Lee. So
it really did. We got Corey in the house. What's up, Corey? I appreciate you coming and hanging out. We got the Main Event Network guys, as you were saying earlier.
Yeah, those are the boys,
guys.
Yep.
We got the Brewers guy in the house. We got my Milwaukee friend, the crazy guy. He's back. Everybody.
Boo! I'm a Mets fan. You can take it. How do you feel that Pete Alonso re-signed, baby? I'm a Mets fan. Mets fan. Mets and Jets. Yep.
Mets and Jets. I mean, listen, I respect that. There you go.
Long suffering. That's right.
Long all the suffering. I hate to see it. Did Brooks Jensen get his name from the NXT name generator? Also, every time I think of Eddie Thorne, I just think of Kevin Thorne from EC.
No, Eddie Thorpe with a P. Eddie Thorpe,
Eddie Thorne, whatever the hell. They still remind me of the same.
I think he took part of that probably from Jim Thorpe.
Eddie Thorne is a bum.
He is a bum.
Yeah. Damn, Kyle, you don't got to be all man.
He's Kyle. Right. Kyle, I agree with a lot of Kyle's takes, and he is right. Bum. That's right. Well, shit.
I'm done. That's funny. Let me see. He said Jay Gold bleeds for the BCC.
That's right.
You bleeding for the
That's
BCC?
Right. East to west. That's right.
East to west. We got our guy Steve in the house. What's up, SCW Steve? Go check out him, Kyle, and the other Steve's preview show for Vengeance Day if you have not yet. I think now live on Steve's channel. Steve, thank you for always coming and hanging out. I appreciate it. Oba. Feminist,
the Oba feminists, yeah.
Feminist. What? Oh no, it's the. I'm thinking of Omos. They call themselves the Osapiens or the
Homo sapiens. Yep. That's right.
I can't. Yeah, no. Malachi Black, I think, will be eventually before, and as soon as Zelina wants him there, she'll be there. Malachi Black, yeah, they did not. They did for a second, like you said, like they did for a minute, and then all of a sudden it all just went downhill. And then he left. He was there. He wasn't. He was. And
the problem is, and
Black just went downhill in general. Like they.
Yeah, the problem is, I have a friend, Matty Fish. By the way, he comes with us to a lot of shows. He just had a baby yesterday. Good for him. He said there's only so much lore that you can do with a guy like Malachi Black is based on his. What they call lore, right? His darkness, his story, like the lore story. And once you run out with that, how much more paint does he have to do on one side of his face with the eye, with the spraying in your face until you have to evolve? And Undertaker had a lot of lore, and he went from purple and black to the bicycle. I mean, a motorcycle to all this stuff. He evolved. Malachi Black never evolved. It became the same gimmick over and over and over again, you know? And like, that was the problem, I think, with him in AEW. He never stopped. He never started to evolve. He stayed the same way. And, you know, as long as it goes like that, it's never going to get better. It was always going to be like it. So maybe he'll come here and evolve a bit. He doesn't have to come up from the ground with this nonsense anymore and the candles. Give him something to go with. Let's give him something meaty. So And Michelle, I don't know about Miro. Yeah, I think Miro just is a complainer.
Well, he was going to be the one I feel like that most likely would not return to WWE.
So, you know what? I think he might too.
It should be interesting.
He could be a TNA guy. You could have what's his name do Miro Day again too.
That's right. He's there too. Oh my god! Yeah. I just watched that Royal Rumble like 2 weeks ago too, and he was the first. Oh my god, the Aiden English his ass. Oh my
Aiden English, yes, he definitely. You could
forget about Rusev Day. It's all way before there was a New Day, before there was Yeet. It was Rusev Day every day. And then it was Lana Day. Remember when Lana decided she was gonna have her day for like a week, and then it all.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Morgan came into the picture, and then Dolph Ziggler and all of that, but. That is Vengeance Day, and I appreciate you coming on the channel, man. So,
Tino, it's been fun, man. Lots of fun.
That is all the comments that we have. I appreciate everybody that did come and hang out. As Jay Gold said, we will be on the main event network Mixer this upcoming weekend. So make sure that you come and hang out with us and the rest of the main event network guys that will be there as we talk about Vengeance Day and everything else and more shenanigans that will go down, I'm sure, at Vengeance Day. But is there anything else that you got going on this week before then?
No, listen to the show tomorrow. Indie Wrestling Guide drops tonight at midnight. So we have Gary J on. So give a listen and keep an eye on. Oh, and I will be on Sunday. I'm going to try to go Saturday, but Sunday too. Sunday I'll be at the J Cup in Jersey City. That starts at 8:00 on Saturday night, the JCW J Cup, and then Sunday at 4:00 in Jersey City. One of the big matches is going to be Joey Janela oh man, the name escapes me. Just check out my Twitter. Gabe Kidd. So if you like that, if you like some of the AEW / New Japan type stuff, there's a lot of good stuff on the J Cup, and I'll be there on Saturday and Sunday.
Well, man, I appreciate you making some time and coming and hanging out here on the channel.
Thanks, man.
For the Vengeance Day preview show, and we'll definitely have to have you on again. Me come on to the indie wrestling. You guys could knowledge me up on this indie wrestling, because I'll be honest, I try to keep up, but I just sometimes need to like take a step back with wrestling. With how much wrestling there is on, you can only take so much, So
we got plenty for you. So come on over anytime you want.
Hey, I appreciate it. But guys, that's how we're gonna end the channel. I'll make sure to put the description and the links to all of his channels in the description in the channel info. So make sure you go check that out in a little bit. But tomorrow we'll be back here on the channel, as we'll be here for another retro. As we go back and we have our top 10 Elimination Chamber matches of the year, or of my top 10 favorite Elimination Chamber matches of all time. And tomorrow we'll be watching number 6 and number 5. So make sure you come and hang out tomorrow on the channel at 5:00 as we do that. And we get ready for the Elimination Chamber in Toronto. But until then, guys, go check out the Main Event Network crew, the OTM guys, the Southside Boys. Go do all that good stuff on the channel. But until next time, hit that like button, subscribe on the road to 3K. And lastly, turn that notification button on so you know when we go live next, which, as I said, will be tomorrow night at 5:00. Guys, have a great rest of your Wednesday, and I'll see you all tomorrow back here on Tino's Time.